Howdy, welcome back to the Duke Motors YouTube channel. My name is Troy and today I'll be discussing driving and reviewing a Maserati Quattroporte Sport GTS, which I'm pretty excited about. So let's talk about this particular Quattroporte and I guess the origin of Quattroporte, at least in this body style. It started pretty much in the same form. This is the facelifted kind of Gen 2 of the more modern era. The first one came out in 2003. It had the Duo Select automated manual transmission, which was absolute pile of hot garbage. It rose to clutch around every 18 to 20,000 miles, depending on use, especially city driving. It's basically made out of glass and rendered those cars pretty much useless and invaluable, but it was gorgeous, and I always wanted one. But after doing a little bit of research, which unfortunately kills a lot of most car purchases these days, I realized that you really want kind of the Gen 2 2000 and above naturally aspirated ones, and this one with the cross-plane crank Ferrari 4.7 with the ZF 6-speed really makes at least the drivetrain portion of this car fairly reliable and fairly usable, dailyable. There's less things to really kill it completely. Now, the way this car is set up, the V8 sits almost behind the front axle, which is awesome. I think it's like a 47-53 weight ratio front to rear. I think again, this one's transaxle, so race car. It's set up nice. It has all the bits, the quicker steering rack and whatnot to make this a very sporting experience. I mean, the car is massive, but it's gorgeous and it's fast and it handles pretty well. And all these things are pretty much attractive qualities in dealing with the bland world of automotive sedan choices that we have today. Now, this one being the GTS, you have the red accents on the Trident there. You have the kind of the concave grille, definitely sportier than the other model. And again, forgive this particular car. It is going to be for sale and bring a trailer, but it has not been detailed yet. So this will obviously all clean up. The owner bought it 4,000 miles ago. The car only has 50,000 miles on it, but just needs to be cleaned up. So obviously, you can see how far back this engine sits. I mean, it's really kind of a feat of engineering how they got that cram back there. Red valve cover gaskets to denote this is the special or more special, more powerful 4.7 in the GTS model line. So, nothing really to see there, but I mean, it is special popping that open and seeing that awesome V8 in there. Now, engine aside, let's go around the rest of the car. And again, it's got a huge wheelbase. This is not a small car at all. The cabin area is actually massive. I can sit behind myself. It has these wild, interesting door handles which don't actually move. It's just a micro switch button to actuate and open up. Interior, at least this is the back seat. Again, I can sit completely behind myself. It's a totally unique interior as far as in comparison to a Mercedes or an Audi or something like that. This just is, it's spicy, right? And that's kind of what you want from a loud Ferrari-engined sedan. This is the ultimate commuter if you want to wake yourself and your neighborhood up every morning. But you got the red stitching, got the carbon accents. Obviously, everything is Maserati, everything is red and black. And it really is unique. And is it the highest quality interior? I'd say not. You have the typical sticky buttons and whatnot, but the layout and how everything is set up in this odd kind of Italian look is extremely, I think, unique and special. Jumping in here, we've got buttons for days, and guess what? They're not in the spot that you'd think they'd be in. It's just kind of scattered all over the place, but it's fine because there's only one button that you really need. And it's this one, it's the sport button. And that's really only one that matters. Activating the different parameters for the sport mode, opening up the exhaust baffles, and obviously turning this thing into an absolute riot. And again, this is not something that I've never even turned the radio on. I've been driving around in this car for 2 days because it just doesn't matter. The sound of that exhaust is really the selling factor and the only reason to really own and operate this vehicle. Now, again, back to the looks, not a bad angle on the whole car. It managed to do everything right as far as that Pininfarina styling goes. This one, I'm particularly a big fan of these kind of off gray wheels. Again, 4.7 badged on it. It's very subtle. It's one of those cars from a different era where it's not super flashy in the nomenclature and the naming and all of that. It's like an XJR. It's just, if you know, you know, and if you don't, it's just another odd Maserati or Italian car, if you even know what that is. So those type of things make this extremely special. And you know, regardless of how it looks, the exhaust note and the driving experience is what kind of elevated it to a different level of interest. Now, in typical Italian style fashion, this check engine light stays on way longer on startup than you think. As soon as you fire up, like, oh shit, I've got a check engine light, but it does go away. Again, a little bit of that Italian nature of it. So I already have the special button push, right? You click that sport button, it opens up the exhaust, and the car changes completely. And yeah, let's just take it for a drive. Let's stop blabbing. Our review of the Maserati Quattroporte GTS. Thank you for watching. That's all it is. Just awesome sounds, and no, there's a little bit more to it, but I think that's where these reviews should almost end. It just kicks out. I mean, it's yeah. Like, how do you say no to that? How do you get in, you drive that, you hear that noise, and you feel the power, and just hear that noise? I mean, it's the throaty sound of it. It's intoxicating, and it just sucks you in. You also kind of feel like a Hellcat or a Dodge Charger owner, but you know, that's not here nor there. Everyone has the thing that keeps them. But in all seriousness, let's talk about how this car drives. And it's still loud, so I'm going to roll the window up. And now we're just cruising along. Now, there's no other car that feels like this dynamically that I've driven, right? It feels like they have inserted a F1 Ferrari cockpit steering wheel and seat into a large sports sedan. It has that kind of Alpha-esque awkward steering wheel straight on driving feel, which of course can be adjusted. But for this application, you just feel like you're almost in a racing simulator because of the kind of aggressive nature of the steering feel, the sound, the experience, the burbles, just how it handles with that good weight distribution and whatnot. It doesn't feel like you're in a large saloon car, and that is what makes this thing bonkers. And you know, you can't buy this experience for the money anywhere else. This is a sub $30,000 car now. This one, again, it only has 50,000 miles on it. It's in great condition, but you can get these cars for maybe even sub $25,000. There's not a whole lot of them. There's not a huge amount of interest in it, but if you know and you want one, then that kind of changes the game for the market. I also don't think there's much in this price point. I mean, I guess you could get a similar generation year M5, but this is a naturally aspirated V8. I mean, this is kind of the send-off of, I think this model year ended 2011 or 2012, and they went to twin turbos and all kinds of other setup. But a naturally aspirated car with this setup, I don't think it really existed. That was, you know, enthusiast focused and whatnot. This is kind of the last of a generation or a year or a category, I guess, of wild over-the-top sports sedans, and it just does it well. I mean, you just hit that downshift and it just does it. It's quick. The ZF is responsive. It's absolutely all you need. It's snappy enough that you feel like you're in control of the car, the shifting, the brakes. Yeah, I mean, I'm just driving around with a stupid smile on my face like I'm 9 years old, and that's really what happens when you enter this sphere of cars. I don't think you could find something else that is stock for the money that can do it. And you know, and it feels special every time you get in and drive it. And I think that's a huge factor when looking into one of these or purchasing them. So I guess in conclusion of just the overall car in general, right? I think it was probably an unplanned success, right? It amazing mating of engine, transmission, sound, but it also, I mean, I guess good for Maserati and for the segment and for the potential buyer, happens to be fairly practical and reliable as well. There's plenty of space. Everything, at least on the interior, works. It has a solid engine, has a solid transmission. It all comes together in ways that I think these cars historically haven't been able to pull off, and which makes it a very interesting snapshot in the in the model range for this car. So, like I said, if you're looking to buy one, this is the one. This year range, even this particular car, like I said, it will be for sale. It'll be on Bring a Trailer, so check it out probably in a month or two. But you know, you just can't find an experience that embodies everything that we've kind of seen for the money in the package. That's exciting. That looks like this. It's an anomaly, and like I said, if you know about it and you know cars, and this is on that radar, then great. But if you don't, check one out. So we'll play this out with a quick walk around. And again, it's a pretty clean car. It was a driver, right? This car starts life out in California, so it's got a couple, blemishes and small chips and probably some scuffs and stuff around the bottom. Even in the GTS form, there wasn't a crazy body kit or a wing or anything, so just this very clean, attractive lines, and it's just a good, honest example. Like I said, it's low mileage, everything's fine. It's definitely going to clean up after it gets detailed and whatnot, but there's no major, flaws or anything that you can see. As it sits here burbling like a 1950s, Chris Craft boat. just a pretty thing. So that's going to wrap it up for me in this awesome 2009 Maserati Quattroporte GTS. If you like this video, please like and subscribe and check out the rest of the videos on my channel. And again, it's not all about Land Rovers, right? Every Land Rover guy wants to find something that's interesting to have as a daily or a family car or something to check a couple other boxes. So, you know, we all have our secondary or third or fourth dailies or practical cars that fit that purpose. So, you know, a car guy's a car guy, and like I said, this is one of my buddies who's also a disco owner. So, you know, it definitely checks a lot of boxes. Let me know if you're a Maserati fan in the comments there. It's always kind of been a bucket list car for me. Not at the proper time of my life right now to own one of those. You know, as with the Jag sold, I just don't need anything like this in my life, but it's been reliable. It hasn't had to put any major service into it, and it's something you can just drive for years and get that little tingly feeling every once in a while. So check out the next video. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Maserati Quattroporte. Quattroporte. La Maserati Quattroporte. Radio check. Quattroporte. Okay, let's see if that cuts out and how it sounds.